welcome to the Thread to Mend podcast. My name's Taylor, and I come to you from Baltimore, Maryland. And this is a podcast about all things that are fiber related. I mostly touch on the subjects of knitting and spinning. And this is my first episode since finishing this sweater and showing it off to you. And I've been a little busy, but I'm still enjoying this. You can see I'm layering underneath it for the first time a t-shirt. So it's kind of very breathable. I think that a lace cardigan would be a really nice summer item to have. That's maybe made out of a silkier type of yarn, maybe a mosaic design. So you do back and forth, but I'm really enjoying this and it is wearing very well. I'm only starting to get the littlest bit of pilling on the forearm slightly. And so I'll keep you updated on how it wears. I don't know that I showed you in the previous episode what I did with my ends, so you might be interested to know. And I'm a little self-conscious about wearing it open because I wouldn't want it to show. But if you look to the inside, if this is not the right thing to do, that's okay with me because I'm really happy with the results of the sweater. But I'm prefacing this to say that no one told me that this is how things should be done. I'm not necessarily recommending it to you as a perfect solution, but it was what I wanted to do, and I'll show you what I did. So I obviously had many ends to weave in, and so instead of weaving in anything, after I knit each row and started the next one, I knotted the two yarns together so that the stitches were the general shape they were supposed to be on the front side. And then when I had three ends together, I tied them in a little braid and then I snipped them quite short. So I could snip these probably much shorter than they are now, but I wanted to give them time to sort of felt and kind of make a cohesive piece of fabric. But they're not long enough that they really can be seen through the eyelet holes, so I'm okay with that. And they're kind of laying flat too, so they don't kind of poke outside of the button band, which I was a little concerned about. Can you hear my stomach? I haven't had breakfast yet and I just poured a coffee, and anyway, I'm like rushing to do this. What am I doing? And my hair is like this is bed hair. But I have really exciting things to show you. So I've been knitting almost furiously on my Yell cardigan, which if you're not familiar with the Yell cardigan, I'll put a little photo of it here. And the Yell cardigan is like so much fun so far. So it feels like I'm stitching a sampler of this palette of colors that's my own choosing because I wanted to use what I had, and the only way to do that is to make my own combination of colors. And I have to go get it to show you. I'll be right back. So she lives in this little basket. I was so thrilled to find this at the thrift store when I did. It has a really cool bottom. Love this thing. And it has really good things here. I think I could hang it from the ceiling if I wanted to make a little side table, like a really lightweight side table for like a mug, or I don't know. I would be afraid that my cat would jump in it and maybe I'm going too far with this idea. Okay. But here is my Yell. I should have steam blocked it before showing you. I like to steam block my color work as I go because it makes it just look a little more finished, especially when I'm knitting in public, because when people see knitting kind of in the raw, they don't understand that it looks very different once it's like washed and blocked and pieced and all the things. So this is my start of my Yell. You can see that's the I'm using a combination of, you can see in the bottom cast on band, this is Biche and Bouche in their 2-ply Shetland lamb's wool. It's so soft. And it's really, really nice. I'm excited that I have 3 full 50-gram skeins for the body main color. The second color here is actually the second color of the main portion of the body of the sweater too, which is Rauma's it's Finalgarn Rauma yarn. And that's a Norwegian wool, I think, or at least it's made there, or used in Norwegian kind of knitting. And then the rest is all Jamieson and Smith. So, and then I have just 1 rogue skein of Elemental Effects Shetland in this kind of seafoam color. I like the low contrast of this row in certain lighting because it makes it just a little bit more muddled, kind of. Not trying to flick you all off, but it helps to hold it straight. So this, you can tell, I'm dropping all of my stitches now, is a very wide project. So it takes quite a bit of time to do a row. Almost every morning this week, I wake up and I start knitting and I immediately make a mistake and I knit all the way around, and then I'm gonna start the next row and I notice that where I picked up, I made a mistake. And then I tink back all the way around and then I pick it up and I knit it again, and then I'm done. So I've been knitting about a row a day on this the last few days. But I have been kind of knitting on it over the weekends, just with intense focus, because it's so fun to see the colors build on each other. And for each section, you're kind of creating a story. So it's nice to kind of decide what that story is going to look like, and then, you know, execute it and see how it turns out differently than maybe what you expect, or maybe, yeah, I haven't had to rip out anything to change colors yet, but I am totally open to it. If I'm going to go back to fix mistakes, then I'll fix whatever choices I make that are mistakes. This row you can barely see, but it's just little crosses. So I'm excited to keep moving on this. I think before too long, I'll already be on the main chart pattern. So I don't know why I'm rushing it, to be honest, because I've really been enjoying it. Well, I can tell you why I've been rushing it, because I started the process of swatching for 2 sweaters coming up, Andrew Mowry's Weekender for a friend, and what's the other one? Oh, Michelle Wong's row cardigan. I'm gonna knit those, and I swatched and I chose my needles, and I realized I needed size 5s to do the particular cast on, and I only have 1 pair of size 5s at this point right now, and they're both stuck in my Daydreamer pullover. So I ordered more size 5s. I only need it for the first row, so I got a pair of size 5s. I got another pair of 6s so that I can kind of sleep on those, because I think I'm using the same size needles for both new cast-ons. And I feel like if you're going to be knitting multiple projects, it's nice to have a couple of the like really common needle sizes. So I have a couple 3s, a couple 4s. Now I'll finally have a couple 5s and 6s, because I'm casting on more and more stuff this year. So this is, like I said, the basket I'm storing my yarn in, but here you can see most of my yarn. I don't have the main, I'm only carrying around the random single skeins. The main body colors for the rest of the color work I have just stashed on my desk over there. And you can see behind me, I'm kind of keeping all of my yarn in front of my face so that I can see that I have it. And when I'm like at work or on my phone, I'm not feeling that deep impulse to buy more things that maybe I don't have room for in my time frame, mostly of like what I plan to complete. I feel like keeping that full and knowing what's ahead of me is really helping me stay focused on not building a stash that's unintentional. Yes, so I'm thinking about casting on a shawl for this little staycation I'm making. it depends on how soon those needles arrive, because if the needles come, then I'll start casting on one of those 2 projects or both. But I'm a super Outlander fan at this point now. It's very new to me, and I just discovered it, and I'm like watching it for the second time because I don't know why I have to watch so much TV. I think I might maybe start buying some audiobooks to like educate myself on things that I can't just intuitively know. But I've been watching Outlander for the second time because it's just like, I feel like having done it though, I don't need to watch it a third time. It really is just a love story. It's not that deep, but when you see everything for the first time, you're like, holy smokes, how can this happen? And then you watch it a second time, you're like, oh yeah, it's TV. Like, I don't know. I'm obsessed. And it's coming out in February, season 5, I want to say. And yeah, I have like a whole season to watch between now and then, and it would kind of be nice to just binge on something while I have the time. I'm also thinking about doing some like slow cook meals that I can like freeze and then have for later, but also feed myself like a fresh meal each day. So if you have any Instapot recipes that you want to share with me or link me to, like, please share them, because I'm looking for inspiration right now on the food realm of existence. It's kind of boring to me, and I make the same things. Like, once I make something I like, I will make it every week until I just can't eat it anymore and I need help. So yeah, I just don't eat gluten or dairy. So those are my exclusions if you are reaching out. I finished washing all of my Elsa wool that came in the mail for a friend. It smells clean. It doesn't smell like exceptionally great. It will when I'm done knitting the sweater and washing it again. But yeah, it's nice and clean, and I am excited to work with this. I would recommend washing any farm yarn before you knit with it, just because one thing that's nice, and it's not necessary, like it's not a technical suggestion, this is just an experiential suggestion, is that a lot of farm yarns are not overly processed. A lot of the times the farmers would rather not use like harsh chemicals to like strip the fiber of any vegetable matter or lanolin or what have you. I mean, obviously the lanolin is taken out for the machine's sake, but often the fibers are a little less like beaten, I would say, than some commercial yarns. So what happens is that I guess a good analogy is that the fiber is kind of still alive, like it still has some life and it has its own shape and its own form. It hasn't really been like broken. So when you wet it and then you let it dry, it kind of blooms into that natural form that it takes, and it kind of lives, especially when it's a woolen prep. When you wash it, it just kind of like grows and expands a little bit. And once it's knit into a fabric and then you wash it, it grows and expands, and all the little barbs on the fibers kind of hook into each other, and it creates a really cohesive fabric, which is really nice. And that's why some of those wool yarns feel scratchy, because all those barbs are kind of like out there ready to mingle, and you just haven't knit them into a fabric where they can kind of find their place and settle down and just kind of like connect together. So I didn't wash this. I'm suggesting it to you all to wash your yarn. So it might be fun. I just learned how nice it is to see yarn like before it's been washed and then after, and it's just sometimes more enjoyable to knit, to be honest. It's just loftier and softer and smells nice. This smells fine. It's just yarn. And this has been washed because I saw their process on their Instagram that they washed it after the mill. So you can't always guarantee that that's happened. So it's nice to do or know it's been done. One thing I love about this, I've shown this in previous episodes. This is the yarn I have queued up for my row cardigan from Crooked Fence Farm. But one thing I love about their yarn is, do you see how the end of it is so, it looks just like a little tuft of raw wool? Like you can tell it's just really good, strong fiber. So I'm really excited to knit with this. I can't wait. I'm kind of, I'm gonna ditch the sun a little bit. No, but I'm kind of avoiding it a little. I don't know. It's cables. Like it feels like it must be intense, but I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. And then I bought all of this Harrisville Designs yarn too, and this is what I'm gonna knit. Kind of a really simple garter warm shawl. I think I just need another shawl that is more neutral, that is not the same two that I've been wearing every other day at work. I'd like a little more variety. I have one other shawl that I do wear, but I've kind of retired because I've been wearing it for a couple years and it just kind of gets old. I pull it out every now and then, but I noticed that some shawls don't like sit on my body, they just like fall off. So I want to make sure that I'm making the shape I prefer, or a new shape that I haven't made, that I haven't kind of worn and tested. So far I really enjoy the half pie shawl shape and the triangular shawl shape that is symmetrically increased at the sides and the center. The triangular shawl that I've made that is kind of on the bias, it starts with the corner and you just expand one side until it's much wider and then you cast off. That one is the design that falls off me the most, and unless I have a shawl pin to kind of hold it in place, I'll constantly be like moving it around on my body. So I want to make a triangular shawl. I think it's going to be a garter shawl. I don't know. I mean, this yarn is so thick that it would be nice to embrace it and make it the thickest, squishiest fabric I could on maybe a little size larger needle so that it's not too dense, which would make it even faster to knit. But I'm not always knitting for speed. At the same time, maybe I should try it out because I'm knitting so much and so much complicated stuff. It'd be nice to have a little instant gratification, but I haven't made up my mind. I think I might do a couple swatches. That would be a good idea. It'll probably be a 3-stitch garter tab cast on situation. I think cables could be nice somewhere in it, someplace. Some type of cable. After knitting this lace, I feel like I don't really want to knit another winter garment with a lace design, just because I need to trap all the warmth I can. The more air I can hold against my body, the better, just because I don't have my own natural insulation everywhere I'd like it. But that might be kind of the direction I go with this yarn. I love this color. It's a really rich dark green. Again, this is Harrisville Designs Watershed yarn, and I'm excited. Brian and I just planned our summer vacation. We're gonna visit Harrisville Designs and stay near or around there on our way up to Portland and stay there a couple nights, as we do every year. We bring our bikes, we ride the town. I'm feeling so much better than I did last year, so I think that I'll be able to like ride more and hike more and do more fun things, plan more day trips. But we stay in a cabin up in Hope. This is our 5th year in a row, so yeah, I'm sure we're like the host's favorite guests ever, because we stay all week. We keep it super clean. I think it's just the best place for us because, you know, it has an outdoor shower, which I love. It has an outhouse, which I love for about a week. But it has a swimmable pond that's just a short hike through the woods. It's gorgeous. It's right up against a blueberry field where we've tried some blueberries. You know, it's just fantastic. And there's so many mountains to hike nearby, a few that are really fun and easy, and a short drive from others that are a little more challenging. So maybe we'll make a trek up to Acadia again and see if we can make time for a intense hike. So yep. Anyway, I'm not trying to look too far ahead into the year, but that's exciting to me. And I should probably let you go. I have to eat breakfast before I leave for work. So How are you doing? How is January? January's almost over. February's coming up. Do you have plans? Are you knitting? What are you knitting? Are you spinning? I'm not spinning in the least, but maybe I will this week. I don't know. I'm putting a lot of expectations on myself to do all the things, but I'm gonna have the time for it. So I'm really looking forward to the week ahead. Maybe I'll record as much of it as I'm able and share it with you as it happens. So I hope that you're well and that you all take care, and thank you for watching. I should have said this at the top, but you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Taylor E. Owen. Please do find me on those platforms because I'd love to stay connected with you all and get to know you and what you're making and what you're really into. I'm meeting so many more new people online that are just getting into fiber prep and prepping fleeces. It's one thing that I'm really passionate about, and I've only been doing a couple years. I haven't made time for it since I went to Rhinebeck in October. I've not even begun spinning or prepping the fleece that I bought. I washed it, that's it. So I think that's the secret, is just wash a little bit, comb a little bit, spin a little bit, and then you can just keep going at that. I'm just wash it all, prep it all, spin it all. So yeah, I gotta reacquaint myself with my fiber stash soon. But as I said, I will see you all later, and I hope that you're well and you have a great day. Take care.